Almost a decade of YouTube brutal advice in 20 minutes. I've been doing content creation since I was 14 years old. I started filming at the age of 8 or 9. So basically I have 12 years of filming and about almost a decade now of creating content. I promise that after this video you will have an awesome idea about how to create content if you want to start, or if you're doing content, how to actually continue doing content. So whatever your stage, you will get the value of this. And the way that I'm going to do it, I'm going to give you the story, give you the lessons, and then I'm going to give you also some other secrets of mine. So the first time that I figured out what is YouTube, I was really excited to the point where I felt like I was in heaven. I really loved the idea of making YouTube videos because since always I fell in love with creating videos. So whatever that is, I was making tutorials with my iPhone, with my Nokia at the time. I was 8, 9. I was filming vlogs. I didn't know what is YouTube. I just watched it on TV. I watched National Geographic, and for me it was just part of that. And for me that was the thing. Like, I'm gonna make a DIY video and I'm gonna just film it. Nokia, I don't even have it right now. So it was just something that I did, and that's what. So at the age of 14, I was lucky enough to actually know what is YouTube. When I first saw it, I got some euphoria that until this day I can never forget that day. I remember the first time that I saw YouTube, which was with my cousins. My cousins were showing me this YouTube thing, and they were showing me Justin Bieber and stuff. And I remember I fell in love. I thought that it just, whatever. It's just so awesome, and like the superstars film and stuff like that. And this is awesome place. I want to be part of that. So I was lucky enough. My brother bought me my iPad, so I started creating content. And until now, I still think the same thing. I think content creation is like heaven, right? It is what I want to do. Actually, this is like a month ago. I told her, this is something that I will never quit. This is like, I'm doing this forever. I'm not stopping. So just like the perspective shifts when you say that. But the thing is, it's not as easy as you might think. Obviously, like if you try to create content at one point or another, you realize that, it comes with its own hardship, its own difficulties, and its own challenges, which is like, it's a career of itself. But over almost a decade now, I realized that there is some patterns that you can notice. I really noticed, as an example, there is a relationship between volume and results. So everybody's marketing the idea of quality videos, but I really believe in volume more than quality. Because the only way for you to actually know what is quality is to upload volume. So let's say there's someone who just tries to make one perfect masterpiece, and there is someone who's making 100 pieces. He will always beat the guy that makes one piece. And even if, let's say, if it's small, if it's like 100 to 1, maybe then the one who uploads just one video will be better. But when we're talking about 1,000, 10,000, then the changes actually can occur, right? And that's why you see all the content creators right now, that's the play right now. Alex Ramosi is uploading 350 pieces a week. Iman Gadzi said that he uploads 4,000. So we're talking about 4,500, so 4,500 pieces of content a week. Obviously, are not long form shorts and stuff, but who cares? It's content, you know what I mean? And the reason behind it is you have a great idea about what works and what not, because at the end of the day, you're not God. You don't know what's gonna work, definitely. And people have this idea that if they're gonna watch Mr. Beast or this other content creator, they will just have this crazy revelation. The thing about it, yeah, sure, you will get some revelations, but it's not all what you need. Because you are literally dependent on Mr. Beast to actually go do the volume himself to realize the lessons so he can give you. And I realized that. I said, screw everybody. I'm going to do it myself. Why am I dependent on others? So they go take an experience, and when they want, they will give it to me. And usually it's not in the time when it's most useful. They can just give it to you 2-3 years later. And you'll be like, oh, this is awesome. It makes so much sense, but for them, they're 100 steps ahead. You understand? So I'm not here talking bad about Mr. Beast or anyone. That's usually what it is. So if you want to, because you're literally his competitor, right? There's like millions of YouTubers. Obviously, it's unlikely, but we're talking about like hypothetically. Alright, so now I'm gonna speak about my first lesson that I learned from YouTube. So I kind of like go gradually so everyone knows, like in every stage you will get what I learned from that stage, and really like the key that I in my head got me to the next stage. So my first stage, I would say, just trying. So I was just filming videos, whatever I think. Okay, so it's like I just get my friends. I was actually very original at first. I was really just writing my own ideas. I was being me. I was really inventing like the genre that I was creating. And obviously I get some little inspirations from people, you know. That's like necessary, but you know, I was really original with ideas and stuff like that, which got me to like 28 videos on YouTube and a lot on other platforms. I can't really calculate, especially like at the time there was not Reels and TikToks, there was more of stories and stuff like that, so you can't really, you know, calculate. But if I'm gonna say like probably 100. Okay, like all of it combined. So after that period, I think like really what I learned from there and what got me to the next stage is really understanding that I need to put in more volume. So I was uploading whenever I felt like it. So it's like really not like that, but it was focused on school. So in holidays and vacations and weekends, I might make, you know, a video or two. Also, I was scripting a lot. I remember at the 8th grade, I was writing down my YouTube videos ideas in French class. I just thought the teacher was boring. I didn't really like it. So I just was literally writing down the description of a video. It's very similar to what I do today. Yesterday, I was writing down what I want. I was literally like solving my problems, going through the stages of really like how you figure out something that is hard and important, or people call it problems. I don't call it that. Just like what's the hardest thing you have to do right now, and like you have to break it down. The process that I actually did was from the book How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, which is also like the reason why I'm speaking about it, and I think this is awesome why I brought it up, because this is like the best way to do with YouTube as well. It's like you're and this is what got me through the stages. Is as an example, in this stage that I'm speaking about, I was uploading in holidays and I realized that, well, there's people that are uploading all the time. Of course they're going to win, okay? So that was my biggest, like my most important hard thing, is how can I upload videos weekly? And that's what I did, you know, and you type, well, I'm going to write down like 100 videos ideas. I'm going to convince my friend to film me. I'm going to film videos alone. I'll try to make this genre. I will use this editing software, etc. So this is at the beginning. Like now I don't do all that, but you got the point. But the process of really like thinking, what's the hardest thing that I have, or what's the thing that I have on my to-do list for the longest time, that's usually the most important, because our mind has this relationship between what's hard and what's important. So we always think that whatever is important has to be hard, while it's not really the case. So yeah, I'm saying like I've been doing this since I was young. So when I say I really feel like heaven, content creation, it's true. You know, it never changed. So that got me to the second stage, is that realizing that I have to upload more. For me, more was weekly. You know, from vacations, like multiple times a week, multiple times a year, to like weekly. That was awesome. I realized that I have other stuff that I have to work on, which is like my editing, etc. So it was like, okay, I'm gonna learn editing. I learned editing, etc. So the thing is like you realize what do you need most. And by the way, this is the same thing right now. This is the same thing when I was getting millions of views a month. Like, it's the same thing. It just repeats itself, it's just on a different scale. So as the essence you want to get is the process that I told you. It's like, okay, what's the problem? What's the hardest thing that I have right now? What's really like in my mind and taking my space and making me anxious, whatever. And then you're like, okay, so what do I have to do? It's like, okay, upload videos weekly. Then if it's something so broad that you don't know how to do, you can even fix what you have to do. So let's say I make videos weekly, then I write down, okay, so how can I do that? Like, I don't know how to upload videos weekly. Then I'm gonna say, well, I just have to script. Well, I have to write down 100 ideas and make a structure that I have to follow in each video, and use, if I have to, simple editing, whatever. I'm just giving you like some random stuff. But the thing is, like, once you do that, you're like, oh, this is so easy. Like, I can do this. Or at least it's doable. And it's always a better standpoint than, oh, it's so important and so hard, like I can't even do it. So now we comprehend like this situation. The next stage that I actually got in, I remember it was actually like, I felt so excited to get into this stage, but I really felt scared too, because I knew that I'm going to push the boundaries. In this stage, I fixed 2 problems, which is one, the consistency thing, so I was uploading weekly, by being also being consistent on Instagram and stuff, and Facebook. And also at the same time, I wanted to make something like videos that drag more attention. At this period, I was watching more like of the big content creators, etc. Some people that inspired me, like Kalu Wakasa and also like Mr. Beast. So I was just making those videos, and for me, that was like, that's my new problems, like how to make videos that people want to watch. If that means I have to spend 24 hours in the closet, so be it. You understand? 24 hours outside, sure, I'm gonna do that. Because that's what looks like it's working, and that's really like what's the next stage that I had. So like probably you are in this stage, and look, honestly, it's exhausting. Like I remember I was being exhausted. I loved it, and I had to drive, but like everybody pulls you down. Like a lot of people, even the closest to you, pulls you down because that's something you've never done. So as an example, I do this right now. Like nobody's gonna hear trying to convince me that what I'm doing is wrong. You understand? Because I can just I can win in that argument because I've done it like thousands of times. However, in that period, I didn't do it. So I had to fight for it. And really, like, what's the biggest problem that I had then is really not getting the views, not getting the results. So I realized that probably what I was doing is wrong, which got me to the next solution. The next solution was actually to try different platforms, which was TikTok at the time. I said, you know what, I'm going to be consistent on TikTok because it looks, everyone is talking about it. Okay, let's be consistent. I was consistent for 10 days. I got 1 million views, and it was, what? Like, the most I got was 20K. You know, and it felt so insane about it because I really didn't think that would happen, but also I knew, like, it's consistency. But the thing is, I realized even more that the more consistent I get, the better results I actually can drive. And I was like, oh, well, it's like, why did it take me so long for me to realize this? Spoiler alert, it just keeps going and going and going. Like, okay, this is spoiler alert. Then the next stage was how to actually make my videos professional. So then I said, you know what, now I'm gonna make videos like bangaroos and stuff like that. I did my one video that was traveling with a bike. I traveled like 60 kilometers to another city with a bike, and the road is not like the easiest. And actually it got me some attention, like got me like 1,000, 2,000 views. But the amount of impact that it had on people, like everyone who watched that video were like, dude, are you that guy who went to, and it just doesn't get so much views. But the attention and also like people, it's memorable, especially if it's your city, people memorize that too. Then the next stage was like, I'm exhausted. Like I've been doing this for like 5 years. I didn't get any results. Now I want to get results. And that was when I actually built brand WhiTeeee for the first time. That was the next solution. It was like, now I have to drive results. I have to study and I have to make a plan. So I made a plan. That was my next solution. I made a plan. And I had a problem. Well, I can't do it on my own. Like my best friends that was helping me just went to Europe. Now I have to figure out other people. So that was the next problem. Solution was just to find anyone who films YouTube videos like any time in his life and just say like, hello dude, I really want to create this team and I really like this. And I just want you to join. The first person that I told him was like, okay. And he got with me, and I was trying to like build, you know, it's more of a virtual team. It's like it was actually real, but it's just not like team, like you would think it is. But just they were my guys. So that was the next problem. The next problem was actually to like continue. So I was doing short form now to convert that to long form. So I did some studying, and I also collaborated with other content creators. I did that. Then it was to continue. So it's like maintain what I'm doing, because it was hard and stuff, or do something better, which is like what got me to like always push myself and stuff like that, and give. This is the part that I didn't like the solution, which is like almost be unauthentic. Which is like you have to separate your life from that. For me personally, I think because that period was so hard in my life, like outside of content creation, it's fine for me to share it. Like right now, I would share it like in a blink of an eye, because I don't care. Like I'm also like mature and adult right now. Like sure, dude. Like I have stuff going on, and it can tell you exactly what's happening, and I've done that so many times this year. But the thing is, like that time I didn't know that. I thought that if I'm gonna tell people what's happening, it's not gonna be positive, and people won't like me. I just had weird idea, you know. I thought that videos has to always be this hype, and because my brand is about like positivity. But the thing is, actually, that will make you more positive if you have all of those that like downward stuff, and you're still positive. That makes people actually relate to you, know you better, and just exist better. But I couldn't do it. Which got me to stop uploading after like 6 months of going through all this. Actually, about more like 8 months. And as I said, it was very hard situation. I was broke because like before that I was broke. So we moved out, we had a family situation happening. So it was like horrible from all the aspects. So I really was broke. And if any money I have, of course, I'm gonna like, you know, make my family survive with it, even if it's $2. Of course, I'm gonna go buy milk or something, because it's not the best of situations. What happened is I started another project, because I said, well, I'm gonna start a business which drives me more money, which I can get some of it, and also I can like reinvest some of it in my videos and get more views, and it's kind of like the cycle repeats. However, what I realized is my business actually failed, which is also like, this is a problem solution, and also another problem, which is my business just failed. I had toxic positivity syndrome. This is just, I made it up, but it is like toxic positivity is when your life is shit, you have to say that your life is shit, and there's nothing wrong. Like show people that your life is shit. I just saw this video on Instagram. I think it's very interesting, of a coach. I don't really like recall his name, but I know he's a good salesperson. He's jacked. I don't know what's his name, but he was talking to this guy, and he said, "Look, you want to be better? Sure. Like, we're gonna take weight as an example. Take off your t-shirt. Guy was fat. Okay, it was really fat. So he got his t-shirt. Cool, and he pointed at another person." So it was not shown, but probably he was also fat. He said, take off your t-shirt. He said, no. He said, that's the problem. It's like, if you're not ready to actually show your weaknesses, you are less likely to actually succeed. People who succeed and get the results are most likely to be the people that are just fine with showing their weaknesses. So if I go back at that time, actually choosing the wrong solutions, which is like being authentic and don't show people like the negative side, for me, it would be like, I think this is what happens, and like my life is going shit, I don't have money, and that's what it is. So I have to continue, which is what I didn't do. The solution that I chose was just to be toxic positivity syndrome. That's what it is. So I didn't upload. Stopped uploading after like 1-2 months. I realized that, well, there's no hope. And yeah, my videos are not very like, don't have that return on investment, especially because I was uploading in Morocco. So there's like 10% of ad revenue that you get from AdSense. And, you know, I just stopped. So it felt horrible for a few years. I went back to college and stuff like that. And also like in college, I'm not going to talk about that, but whatever. I just came back. And actually when I came back, I was like uploading videos here and there, because it's just like rooted in my blood, as I told you. It's my heaven. So I was always going back and like holidays and stuff. It's literally what I did at first. So I went into the first stage, imagine. Because I chosen the wrong solutions, but I didn't have any idea. So imagine like 2-3 years later, I realized that, well, I can't just be this, and I know that I have to go back to content creation, etc. And like not go back, but like fix my shit. And that's really when I started WhiTeeee Galaxy. I realized that this is what I want, etc, etc, etc. So that's my decision. I started WhiTeeee Galaxy, and it felt like I really restarted like the entire journey from the beginning. It's like going through the phases. This time, I went through like, I didn't bullshit myself, and I went all in volume. So like the first year I uploaded 100 videos and stuff. And I didn't do the mistakes that I did at first, like 6-7 years ago, 8 years ago. And the thing is, like, now the more I go with it, like even with my Arabic content, because like also like I had all-time peak this year in my Arabic content. At least like, I'm not going to say all-time peak, but I'm going to say like second all-time peak, something like that. It will be more accurate. I wouldn't say it's actually the all-time peak, but it was like very like good stuff. It's like, yeah, sure, like you're doing something, whatever that is, just do it and shut the fuck up. But the thing is, I just realized that I am just a dumb fucking motherfucker. That's what it is. Like, if I just got and said literally what I'm saying to you right now and be like, okay, what's the first problem that I had? What was the solution? Consistency. Okay. What's the second? Oh, more consistency. Okay. What's the third? Oh, even more consistency. What's the fourth? Oh, even more consistency. Of course, I just have to work on more consistency with the time. I don't know why it was so dumb to see that. But obviously, like, if you want to know, like, this is what I think. Almost a decade of creating content. I think it all comes down to consistency. As like, I think, look, my heaven is all about consistency. Yeah, I really do believe that that's what it is. Like, almost a decade. I think the only lesson, like the most important, is just consistency. And, as I said before, it's like the most important is usually like we think it's hardest. So if you have that idea too, consistency is consistency. So you have to look, replace the word consistency with volume. I love that even more because it makes you understand it. So instead of saying I'm going to be consistent, uploading once a week, I said that, my friend said that, nobody does that. But like if you're going to say, well, I'm going to upload like, all right, one time a week, I'm going to upload 54 times a year, that's something you can do. And because it took you a year, like you probably will never stop after that. You understand? Obviously, like another take of it is to put like short times. Like it's in the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna make 3 videos, 4, 5, 10, 100. So I'm not gonna here burn the stages. I don't know what stage you're in, but it depends on you. You're always gonna have that like 100 videos, like 4 videos a week, 24 videos a day, stuff like that, like 24 videos a day, and you feel like normal. So it's like literally the past week I had days when, like this month I had so many days when I uploaded 24 videos a day, obviously across all the platforms. And it just like, nothing is crazy because you just have more statistics. Because the thing with volumes, like what makes volume so good and so valuable, because once you make like, let's say 1,000 pieces of content, you have more statistics. So, as an example, like the best 100, as an example, you were wearing like white t-shirts. You were talking this way and you edited this way. The camera was this angle. The subject was this. Was it like a selfie, third person, second person, whatever. All of these are really like what matters, and you have more statistics and also have the worst statistics. It's like, what's the worst 100 of that 1,000? All right, I was filming with shit quality. I was filming with my iPhone 6. The lighting was shit too, and really the sound was shit, and etc. And the list goes on. And I realized that, well, what I have to do is just don't do the stuff that I described, my worst, like my shittiest 100 videos, and do more of what I described, like my best 100 videos. And the thing is, like, that just makes sense. And with me, it's also volume. You realize that, well, when you do volume, you drive more results and you have more statistics, so you can make even better quality. And the best state to be in, like as a content creator, well, this is my theory, okay? That you can create so much quality content like with volume. You understand? Like, that's what I think. You have to, like, once you get to the point, like, I think that's like the peak. Really, that's a high. My theory is once you go through this loop, you get to the point when you have so much statistics that it just feels like really hard to make a bad video. And that's really what I think, like big creators, like I've talked to so many of them. I just talked to one this month as an advice standpoint. He was giving me all of these advices, and I realized that he just had more statistics than me. Obviously that his advice is awesome. Like he was talking to me how you should actually be famous in your area, so like your neighborhood or something. So you be famous in just a small area, because you can't be famous in a big area without being famous in your area. So start with your area, and just like you will, that will expand on itself. That's an awesome idea too, you know? And yeah, honestly, look, there is a lot of stuff that I can say about this. Obviously, almost a decade of experience of content creation is definitely a notion. But I think I really did what I promised. Now you are able to create content, whether that be for the first time, or if you're already a content creator, like you know what you have to do without need of anything else and nothing external but yourself. And what you've seen here, you can never unseen, so might as well subscribe.